Welcome everybody to Tuesday, May 1st, Board of Selectmen's meeting. I'll read the agenda. 7 o'clock we'll have citizens input. 7:05, John Shortsleeve, power forward electric bid. 7:15, swearing in, pinning new firefighters. 7:30, public hearing, Renaissance and Hilton Garden Inn, in-holder and common vic liquor license extension. 7:45, public hearing, The Kitchen, on-premise, all alcohol license, common vic license, 7-day entertainment license, liquor license, hours extension. 8 o'clock, public event application, Foxborough J.C.'s Concert on the Common. 8:10, resignation of Don Triani and new appointment of Jeff Whitehouse to the Permanent Municipal and School Building Committee. 8:15, appointment of Kim Mellon to member from Associate Member of Zoning Board of Appeals, appointment of Lorraine Brew to Associate Member of Zoning Board of Appeals. 8:20, application for Hackney licenses, QLS Inc., Pascal R.H. Vazarut, Donald Leo Vandell, Julie Ann Slocum. 8:30, approval consideration of Finance Director's contract. 8:40, Selectmen's update. 8:45, Town Manager's update. 8:50, Assistant Town Manager's update. Then we have a bunch of action items. Mary Beth, can you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, being a little after 7 o'clock, is there anybody here for citizens' input?
Good evening, everybody.
Can you come up to the microphone, please? State your name for the record.
My name is David Greenberg. I live on 2 Fairbanks Road. I'm here with myself, the rest of the majority of the residents here on Fairbanks Road, with an ongoing issue that we've had with this road over the last 30, 40 years. It needs to be maintained. It hasn't been. It's a disgrace to drive down. It ruins our cars. Years ago, when Mr. Coppola, Don Rodman, and a few other selectmen went down there, it used to be a dirt road. They came down, they looked at it, they all agreed. They graded it down, they paved it, they put a drain in, they said they were going to maintain it. We've been going round and round in circles, we've been making phone calls, trying to get our roads fixed. Occasionally they come by and they fill the potholes. It's to a point right now where nothing is being done. And to be honest with you, we're really kind of distraught about it because it's a mess. And we were looking for guidance and help to get it permanently fixed. That's what we're here for.
Okay. Being it's a citizen's input, we can't have a dialogue going back and forth, but what we can do is put this on an agenda item, and we'll...
What I'd like to do is get your name, sir, and I'll try and respond to you directly on that.
Greenberg?
Yep. Okay.
I did make phone calls. I believe I left some voicemails at your office, the highway department office.
I know
People have gotten back to me.
I don't think I've spoken to you directly, but...
It's been an uphill battle. Everybody's been very nice about it.
Yeah.
But it's to a point where it really needs a permanent solution.
I think the only question is whether it's a private road or if it's a public road.
That always comes into place as far as we know from what we know. Everybody gave all the tests. And Karen Trad, if you'd like to say something, when she first bought it out, she inquired about it. I know there's a sign that says a private road. We can't find any documentation that it is, so that's an issue. But the point being is that when the time came and it was fixed, it was repaired, they gave our word, they promised they were going to maintain that road.
I'll speak to you directly about that, because I'm not sure how that happened, but if it's a private road, we can't do that. That's illegal to do that. So, but I'll speak to you directly about that, because if it's never been accepted by town meeting, it's not a public road. That's the issue.
Also, the other issue on that same note, very briefly, would be to the commitment that the previous selectmen made years ago, with respect to Michael Pola, that those selectmen did commit to maintaining that road. And it's just
that may have been the case, sir, but I can't speak to that unless I know the facts. That's all I can deal. That's all I can deal with.
So, moving forward, how do we proceed?
I'll speak to you directly. I'll do the research with our engineering department, and we'll see what we can do to try and address it for you.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. If you want to just leave me a number, sir, if you just...
Anybody else here for citizens' input?
617-803.
Seeing none.
0920.
We're going to take things out of order.
2-0. Okay, very good.
I know everybody is chomping at the bit to hear about power forward and electrical aggregation, but I think more people are here for the swearing in, so we're gonna Chief, we're gonna bump you. Okay, so we'll take the 7:15 swearing in, pinning new firefighters.
Well, thank you guys very much for
jumping us ahead. Sorry for all those. On behalf of Foxborough Fire Rescue, we truly want to thank the Board of Selectmen and all the family members for being here. As you can see, this is a really important process for us, as you can see by the turnout. It's not every day that we get to bring new firefighters on to the department and taking care of our residents and our businesses in the community. And these folks that are here are a testament to the young men that are going to be in front of you tonight, swearing in and being pinned as new members of our department. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I can't be any prouder of these guys. They have done everything that my officers have asked them to do and above that. So with that, I find town clerk's going to swear them in. Bob, thank you very much for doing this. And we'll go from there.
Where do you want them to be?
Right there.
Right there, okay. So gentlemen, you know the drill. You're going to raise your right hand. You repeat after me. I state your name.
I, George Miller,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
That I will be a true faith
that I will be true faith
and allegiance to
and allegiance to
and will uphold
and will uphold
and defend
and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America
the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts
and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts
and the bylaws of the town of Foxborough.
and the bylaws of the town of Foxborough.
I will fairly
I will fairly
and equitably
and equitably
execute and enforce
execute and enforce
the laws thereof
the laws thereof
within the extent
within the extent
of my authority
of my authority
and jurisdiction.
jurisdiction.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You guys are doing good. I state your name.
I, George Miller,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all of the duties
all of the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as a firefighter paramedic
as a firefighter paramedic
of the Foxborough Fire Department.
of the Foxboro Fire Department.
I will obey
I will obey
and be bound by
and be bound by
such rules and regulations
such rules and regulations
as now are
as now are
or may be
or may be
from time to time
from time to time
established by
established by
the government of the Foxborough Fire Department.
the government of the Foxboro Fire Department.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I state your name.
I, Joseph Miller,
Hereby accept
hereby accept
the position of firefighter paramedic
the position of firefighter paramedic
in the fire department of the town of Foxborough.
in the fire department of the town of Foxboro.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
As most of you know, being part of Foxborough Fire Rescue is not just being an employee of the town. They're part of our family. And the folks that are here representing them, you're part of our family. And we're really honored to have you all as part of our big group. With that, we go to the next big part. It kind of gets a little emotional sometimes. We actually have the pinning ceremony where somebody will actually, a loved one or a person of their choice will come up and actually do the pinning. The first one that we have is going to be firefighter Eric Bird, being pinned by his father, Eric. Rick, sorry, Rick. Make sure you don't stab me.
Yeah. He's a good kid.
New shirt. Next will be Bill Cavalieri, being pinned by his wife Rebecca and his daughter Mackenzie. Next is firefighter Joe Daytona, being pinned by his father Rocco.
He'll let you know if he does.
It's all right. Sorry. No?
There you go. That's good. All right.
Next is firefighter John Villa, being pinned by Lieutenant Rob Lucas in memory of his grandfather, Captain Rennie Florence. Firefighter Joe Rabufio, by his father, Joseph. Next, we have firefighter Jason Galante, being pinned by his mother, Diane. Oh, you already sabotaged it. The last thing I have to say is really to the members of Foxborough Fire Rescue. It's your responsibility to teach them the Foxborough way. They're young, they're a bunch of sponges wanting to be absorbing all the knowledge that you guys have the ability to give them. So it's your responsibility if they mess up, and I'll come hunting down for all of you, but I don't see that happening with you guys. And I can't thank you guys enough for being here. It's really important for them to see how much you believe in them, and it looks great. To you guys, thank you so much for letting us have this opportunity, and for you guys, I'm sorry you had to wait. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if we just hold on for one second. First of all, I do want to say that I personally met with each one of these candidates, and I can tell you they're outstanding candidates. We already have a tremendous department, and I think this will only complement the outstanding individuals that we already have in this department. I'm very proud of all these guys and for the work that they do in this community. It's just an outstanding department, one that I've been very, very proud of since I've been here, and I want to thank you all for the work that you do. At this point, I think it's appropriate for me to announce the fact that I've received a letter this week from the fire chief indicating that he will be retiring as of January 18th, 2019. Much to my chagrin. I really have worked really well with the chief, and I've really enjoyed his partnership, leading this department to new things that they've learned every single year. We've actually reorganized together. We've worked really well together as a team. The deputies and the leadership team that he has is just an outstanding group of individuals, and the overall department makeup is one that is second to none. So I just want to say thank you to the chief. We'll begin the process of determining who will next be the chief of this department. It'll be a several-month process. As we know, it usually happens that way. But our goal, and I appreciate the fact that the chief gave me plenty of time to do that, so it will be a nice, easy transition. So I just want to say thank you to him publicly, and that I thought it was appropriate with all of you here to know that we are going to see a changing of the guard. But I want to say publicly thank you to the chief for his service to this community.
No, not yet.
Now you can go.
Not yet. To the firefighters that were just pinned, on behalf of the board, congratulations. Welcome to the team, and especially Joe and Jason. I watched you two Rugrats grow up, so I'm extremely proud of the young men that you become. So congratulations.
Would the board like to get a picture with the new candidates? I think that would be appropriate. If we can walk them up, guys. Actually, no longer candidates, you're actually firefighters now.
Do you want him up that way?
Yeah, come on up, in front of the front table, guys. Come on, come on. Hurry back. Hurry back.
Yeah, the block. Well, Doc, you can stand back. Jim, you can stand back up there. Ginny, you need to come up front.
Anybody got a wide-angle lens? Roger. Be high over there.
I'm a little extra expertise.
We good? Okay. Very good. Thank you very much. That's good. What's that?
Thank you for bearing with us. We'll take the 7:05. Where's the gavel? The gavel. Is Fairbanks public road? Where is Fairbanks?
Thank you.
It may be one of those private. All right, so we'll take our 7:05 John Shortsleeve power forward electric bid. John, come up.
So, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this is John and Joe Shortsleeve. They represent our company, the company that actually has done all the work for putting together our electric aggregation program called Power Forward. And I'll let them introduce what they've done for the past year. But we've actually completed our first year of operation under the program. Perhaps maybe get somebody to close that door. Might be. Well, now we can close the door. Now it's a good idea to close the door.
Ellen,
Great.
Ellen,
Yes,
Ellen, get the door.
Grab the door. Yeah, okay. Great, that's it. Yeah, there we go. Great.
Oh,
There we go. There we go. Thank you. So it's been a very successful year, and I'm grateful for the work that they've done to help the community. It's the savings overall, as will be demonstrated, is about $1.2 million to the community this past year. Very successful program. We're about to embark on the second year of the program, in which the rates that we have in place are good until October of this year. But now is the time for us to start looking at going out to bid for new rates. As John will explain to you, the rates may not be as favorable as we first got the first time, but in contrast, the rates still should be, we hope, will be better than the rates that are being offered through the electricals through National Grid. So with that, I'll turn it over to John. He can go through the details. Sorry.
So we are taking bids next week, we have calculated the savings for the residents through the first 18 months of the program. There was an 18-month contract, as Bill mentioned, which lapsed in October. And we know the basic service rates up through that. We've been able to calculate the portion of that savings that goes to the residents is a little bit more than $1 million. I think the one significant caveat that we need to mention to you and any residents that are listening to this is that the savings that we achieved in the first contract are off the charts high. It's on the average of about $100 a resident. The typical average aggregation savings, they're now like 100 and some odd communities doing this. It's like 1/6 of that. So don't get used to the savings that we've had. But as Bill says, we think we can still achieve savings.
So so what's happened is the market has shifted. As we know that fuel costs and actually there's fewer plants on board right now, which is causing a spike in the market. And also, I think what's more significant is the federal charges on the plants is causing a rather significant spike in rates that has really disrupted the market. But I think what's good about this is the fact that we're going out to a bid at a good time. We're heading into the summer months, which sometimes will have a beneficial impact on the rate and the ability for us to lock in a rate. But what's good about it too is that if we do it early, we can also go back and do it again if we don't find that we find the market is as satisfactory to us as we'd like it to be. So John and his company have had a lot of experience dealing with this type of program, and I'm pleased to say that our program was as successful, if not more successful, than many that he's worked on. So I was pleased to see that.
John, can you talk about why the rates in Massachusetts are higher than the other New England states?
Sure.
Is that because of the green energy mandate by the state?
It's a significant piece of it. We have about 100 plus municipal clients in the 2 states of Mass and Connecticut, and the regulatory, the green energy portion, it seems the regulators just can't love to tack things onto the electric rate. The regulatory, the green portion of it in Mass is about twice what it is in Connecticut. And actually, in Massachusetts, there are 3 zones, and you're in the SEMA zone, and this year SEMA has the highest, not capacity charges, which Bill was talking about a minute ago. The capacity charges overwhelm the green charge. The capacity charges can be upwards of 3 or 4 cents of a 10 or 11 cent rate. I mean, that's kind of unconscionable, but so the capacity charges are the first part of it, and then on their heels is the RPS, or the green piece of it.
Yeah, I know when we go out to bid, I just routinely find Rhode Island and New York much less than Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I knew that was the reason why.
Yeah.
But people should understand that.
Right.
It's not just the commodity. It's the mandate by the regulators that are driving the costs up.
Half of a 10 or 11 cent rate are regulatory charges.
Right.
Now, it used to be that the wholesale energy price was 80% of it, and then they had retail margin and some other stuff. But now it's the regular charges are dwarfing the cost of energy.
What percentage of the residents in Foxborough participate in the program?
Very high percentage. I don't have the number off the top of my
Either
head.
knowingly or unknowingly.
Yeah, well, 6,149 residents, all accounts, residential accounts, I should say, in Foxborough are enrolled in the program. You get a sense, Joe, for what percent that might be of the town? I'm not sure
of the accounts total.
We know that it may be somewhere between 5 and 10% of those that, when the program started, that were given had the opportunity to opt out. Somewhere between 5 and 10% did.
It's 90% or more of the people who were on the utility basic service rate when the program launched. So anyone who hadn't previously shopped around for their own competitive electric supply contract, who was just with the utility default, 90% plus of them are in the program.
Good, good. So it sounds like you had good participation.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me say,
It is 90%. It was the number that I saw for as of December 31st was 90%, with the total kilowatt use of the total use was 71%. So, so that, which means the total use in the community was 71%. So that's, but 90% of the aggregation accounts were residential units.
Right.
So,
Right, right.
and 10%, of course, being non-residential units.
There's one other thing that I think you should be aware of. I'm not sure if you followed the press. Maura Healy was doing is out after some of the more unsavory energy suppliers, boiler rooms, knocking on doors, with particular attention to chasing down either seniors or non-English speaking populations. She's trying to shut that side of the market down. She's not going after aggregations. But one of the things that an aggregation contract does bring to a community like Foxborough is a well-vetted, consumer-friendly agreement that, you know, if anyone, sometimes at the time that you launch one of these things, it sort of brings the interest of the other suppliers in. They pretend that they're, you know, the town program. If anyone's knocking on your door or calling your dinner time, it's not the town program. The town program is a well-vetted program, and you can get out whenever you want with no penalty.
Okay.
Do you have any sense yet what kind of an increase we're probably going to be looking at?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's, I mean, right now your rate is down here, and I think you're going to see at least a 2-cent, is my guess, increase in that. But the question is not what's that rating. The question is where are you vis-a-vis the utility rate?
Yeah.
You know.
So
Right now, we're just around 9 cents per kilowatt hour, and 9.2, I think it is, and that's good
9.2.
until October of this year. The new rates are coming in, you know, somewhere in the 11 range, 11, 12 range.
Yeah.
And but yet the utility is running somewhere around 14, 13,
Yeah.
14. Sure.
13.7 is what we think the
Yeah.
basic service rate's going to be.
Yeah, if anybody's interested and they want to check rates, they can go on Power Choice website. They'll give you a whole list of
Right.
Options.
Right.
suppliers. You can get different rates and false leaders. A lot of them are 6-month rates. And you have to be careful for that because it automatically default to a much higher rate. They suck you in, then you're locked in for
And you make it
18
up.
months. Yeah. So
you
read the
make it up,
fine
yeah.
print on that.
Right.
So, but no, this is a good program. I think it puts dollars in people's pockets. So.
So you'll basically be back the next meeting with the rates, right?
No, the way this process works and the way we did it last time is that when the bids come in, the bids are good that day. So the suppliers aren't going to hold an electric bid overnight. So what you did, you know, typically you authorize the town manager to make that decision, that we're assuming that's the way it'll happen again this time.
So it doesn't have to come back to us, we can just...
No, the board doesn't have to act on this one. Is it because the rates only hold for 24 hours or less than 24 hours or even that afternoon?
For 3, you got to make a decision by 4 o'clock that afternoon.
Right, exactly. So by the close of business. So you have to make the decision, and then what we can report back to you what our findings were. We certainly can do that.
Yeah.
But then the determination will be whether or not we want to go forward based on the rates that we have, or if we think we can do better waiting on the program until later on in the year. So we don't really have to make the decision. We can lock. I suppose we have to lock in, though, right? At that point,
you're going to have to decide next week. You know, you can. It's the no decision is an easy one, but if you want to accept something, you got to accept it that afternoon.
Fair enough.
So do we have to vote to authorize?
I don't believe, because I normally approve contracts anyways for those types of issues, so I don't think you need to authorize me in this case. But we wanted to report back to what the findings was. Actually, the findings or the performance rather was actually quite good. And in your board documents, board docs link, you'll see that this year we had on the residential side, we have an estimated savings of just over $1 million. On the commercial side, another $139,000. On the industrial side, $41,000. For a total savings of about $1.2 million. And that goes right back into the pockets of residents and commercial participants. So it's a direct payback. So.
question through the chair.
Yep.
So if you take, I'm just looking at the chart that you provided out of the 6,149 residents, that $1 million broken down for your chart, 54,000 a month, comes out to about 30 cents a day, about $100 a year.
$100 a year, yeah.
$100 a little, yeah, about $100 a year. Listening to this, I thought it was a lot more. Not to say it's not a lot, but for 30
Right.
cents a day, is the data? If these aggregate rates are probably going to change over the year, is there data for the situations where you sign on to this and it actually hurts you because they are paying more than if you weren't on the aggregate rates?
All of the aggregation, we're now representing 16, well, we're representing 20, but 20 communities that are doing this, but 16 of them have operational aggregations. All of them are saving money at the moment. But the norm in this is that one of the things the program does is it also eliminates the volatility and the seasonal jump up and down, summer to winter. That stability, which is valued, I think, by some residents and some seniors, means that, by definition, you're typically procuring rates that are higher than the summer rates and lower than the winter rates. That's the norm. This is very unusual that we were beating both the summer and the winter rates. We don't expect to do that again.
Okay, because I think you have further down, yeah, so you break it down to month as well.
Yeah.
Okay. But I guess back to my question, are there examples where this program has actually hurt residents because you sign into it and they end up being more, understanding the fluctuation?
There clearly are historical examples of that. The Cape, when they first, the Cape is everyone's standing on the shoulders of the Cape Light Compact, who did this in 2005. And they had, periods of time where it was, probably 3 cents more expensive to be on aggregation than when we started into this process a couple of years ago. We surveyed all of the aggregations in the state and looked at the savings, high, low, but the average of, this is 2-year-old data, but the average was about 0.3 cents of savings after you figure in the highs and the lows.
Okay.
We haven't done an updated version of that, but
That's in the cents per kilowatt hour measurement. So the sort of equivalent would be the difference column in, I believe, the chart you're looking at, which is 1.725
yeah.
for residents.
as opposed to 0.3.
I mean, if you really wanted to play the market, so to speak, you can opt in, then opt out,
You can,
then opt back in.
you can do that.
Then opt out if you really want to play it. But you'll know based on what the aggregate rate is, and you'll get a good sense of, does it make sense? Is it going to be close? If it's close, maybe you don't participate. If you think there's going to be a widespread, then you participate.
Right.
So.
Might help to notify the board, let the public know, though, how often does the National Grid change its rates?
Every 6 months.
Every 6 months.
And it's typically a, lower summer, higher winter, lower summer, higher winter. And that can vary by as much as 3 or 4 cents a season.
And can you explain, if you look at the commercial and the industrial rates, the industrial is about 30% of what the residential rate, I would have thought it would be the opposite. So the kilowatt per hour is 0.47 versus 1.7. I would have thought it would have been the opposite, that the commercial or the industrial.
What you're talking about there is the cents per kilowatt difference. So we procured one single blended rate for all rate classes. And so with
all of the 3 classes get
all
one
3
rate?
get one rate.
Oh, so that's just their savings?
That's
Okay,
just, yeah,
I see.
that's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the board? No. Okay.
Great. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay, 7:30 public hearing, Renaissance Hilton Garden Inn, Inholder and Common Vic's liquor license extension.
The Board of Selectmen, acting as the local licensing authority pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 138, will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, May 1st, 2018, beginning at 7:30 p.m. in the Gala Meeting Room, Town Hall, 40 South Street, on acceptance of the provisions of the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 138, Section 33B, sales of alcoholic beverages by an on-premises licensee on Sunday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m., and certain legal holidays for Colwyn Management, Inc., doing business as the Renaissance Hotel at Patriots Place and the Hilton Garden Inn at Patriots Place, 27 and 28 Patriots Place. Manager is Socrates Ramirez. Additionally, licensee requests their common victuals license and 7-day entertainment license hours be amended to reflect early openings on Sunday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. and certain legal holidays. All interested parties are welcome to attend.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
So as obviously he just read, we are requesting to open, for alcoholic beverage sales earlier on Sundays. It just, it complements, our brunches that we do, not only for, in 28 Restaurant and the Garden Grill, but also with wedding parties, post-wedding Mother's Day brunches that are coming up, or even Easter that we just had. It just makes it for, smoother service. It's consistently requested by our patrons as well. So just made all the sense to make the request.
Okay. Questions from the board?
No.
That's it. Are we doing all three?
All three, what?
Two, the residents in Hilton Garden.
No. The common vic license, the 7-day entertainment license, and the liquor license.
I would think you want to take three separate votes.
Votes,
Okay.
Okay. There's no questions from the board. Any questions from the audience? Seeing none.
Move to close public hearing?
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All's in favor?
Aye. All right, so we'll split them up. Move to approve the extension of liquor license hours as per Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 33B, to permit serving on Sundays at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and certain legal holidays, and to be accompanied by the brunch menu.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All's in favor?
Aye. We should split up the common vic and the entertainment too, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Move to approve the extension of the common victuals license hours to reflect early openings on Sunday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. and certain legal holidays.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All's in favor?
Aye. Move to approve the extension of the 7-day entertainment license hours to reflect early openings on Sundays between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. and certain legal holidays.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All's in favor?
Aye.
Congrats.
You're good.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, sure.
Okay, we'll take the 7:45 public hearing, the kitchen, on-premise, all alcohol license, common vic license, 7-day entertainment license, liquor license hours extension.
The Board of Selectmen, acting as the local licensing authority pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 138, will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, May 1st, 2018, beginning at 7:45 p.m. in the Gala Meeting Room, Town Hall, 40 South Street, on the application of an on-premises annual all-alcohol restaurant license authorized by special legislation, Chapter 308 of the Acts of 2016, and on acceptance of the provisions of the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 33B, sales of alcoholic beverages by on-premise licensees on Sunday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m., and certain legal holidays for Kitchen Partners, LLC, doing business as The Kitchen, 8 Mechanic Street, manager Jennifer Meckler. Additionally, licensee requests approval of a common victualler license and a 7-day entertainment license for the established hours of operation. All interested parties are welcome to attend.
Welcome. What's new and exciting at The Kitchen?
Getting there.
30 days out.
What's that?
We're 30 days out.
30 days out?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Steve, it might be helpful if you just sort of describe what you've done and what's, and where you are in the process. I've actually visited the location. It really came out beautiful, did a really nice job. The work is really quite nice. I think the major piece was the kitchen itself.
That's right.
Was the remaining piece, and it might be helpful to just describe for the board where you're at with that.
So yeah, we've spent the last 4 months finishing up, getting all the detail ready. The kitchen arrives in 2 weeks, and from that point forward, we're training and preparing to open. First of, I'm thinking date is
I think we're at like June 19th.
June 19th.
And try and do a job fair and
get the hiring out of the way. Yeah. So that's where we're at.
Okay. Menu? Any ideas of menu?
fantastic stuff. Tons of good stuff, I promise. Let me see, starters, we're doing some ale-steamed mussels. We're going to do some charcuterie boards. We're going to do wings 3 different ways, a Korean barbecue, a whiskey bacon. We're going to do a traditional buffalo blue. Moving on to moving on to salads, we have some great local greens, some heirloom beets, some beefsteak tomatoes, great kind of things with a burrata salad. Moving on to dinner, we've got 4 kinds of seafood, a couple steaks, a couple chickens, some vegetarian options, some pasta options, some great homemade desserts. I have the benefit of being an executive chef and an executive pastry chef, so we will be doing a lot of our own desserts. Majority, probably 90% of the food will be from scratch. So we have a great local team who's we're starting to put together.
And brunch.
And brunch. Brunch is my thing. So we're doing 5 kinds of hash, a vegetarian hash, a pot roast hash, a short rib hash, something in kind of a ratatouille vegetarian.
Now you're making me hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Killer French toasts. I think we have 7 Benedicts on the menu, 7 different kinds of bennies. We're going to do a house-cured beef gravlax, so beef salmon. Hopefully the town will love it. And we're excited about the menu, so.
We're all excited to see you.
I was going to say, the town's been waiting.
I know. The town's been very patient with us. We ran into a lot more issues than we thought going in. We thought it would be a much faster progress with the building than it was. But hopefully, everyone will find
it was worth
the wait. Yeah.
It was worth it.
It's really nice. They did a beautiful job. Yeah, the inside work is really, really nice.
What are your hours going to be?
So we're not doing lunch right away. So it's going to be 3 o'clock to, I believe we asked for midnight, but realistically, probably 10 o'clock, 10:30. And then Sundays early, 9 o'clock, and, brunch will probably go till 3, and then we'll start a light menu for Sunday nights.
And you'll, as business picks up, you'll start rolling into lunch, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
that's our hope.
We're hoping by fall.
Yep.
Yep. Some private events on Saturdays, to rent out the restaurant, and if people
Private
are interested
dining,
in doing, big baby showers or wedding showers or that kind of thing.
Good.
Keep the team busy.
What's the occupancy? How many seats?
90.
90.
Any other questions from the board?
No. Move to close, no.
Any questions from the audience? Okay.
Move to close public hearing.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? Aye.
Move to approve the on-premises all alcohol restaurant license as authorized by special legislation, Chapter 308 of the Acts of 2016. I guess we'll have 4 different motions. Do that one first.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye. Move to approve the extension of liquor license hours as per Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 33B, to permit serving on Sundays between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. and certain legal holidays.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye. Move to approve the common victualler's license for established hours of operation.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye. Move to approve the 7-day entertainment license for established hours of operation.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye. Good luck.
Thank you.
We're excited.
See you all soon.
Yes.
All right. Look forward to the grand opening.
Please put your menu up on the website.
The website's almost done.
All right. Excellent.
They'll do well. Yeah, like that. Absolutely. A little ahead of schedule. Linda, I don't think you'd be upset if we took you early, would you? Wait a minute, I did. I got you speechless.
So I do have a flyer that I want to give you guys. The rec and trustees are working together.
Thank you.
Excellent.
So, I'm Linda Walsh, Conda, with the Foxborough JCs. I just wanted to introduce you all to Max Lowe. He's our incoming new president of the chapter. We'll be installing him on Saturday night.
Yes, you will.
He is also the current chairman, and has been for many years, of our concert series on the Common. Normally, we just kind of put our application in, and you guys look at it and say, oh yeah, Thursday night is coming, that means summer's here, so. But this year's a little different. Deb did approach me and asked about having the farmer's market down the other end of the Common. We both kind of worked together and said, you know, I think we can feed off of one another, not only publicity-wise, but the crowds will go to both, hopefully, and enjoy a night out on the Common. So we're here for the approval of the series. Any questions?
Questions from the board?
More comment. I think it's great you're working with the farmers market too.
Yeah, I think it'll be
I agree. I think it's a win-win.
Yep.
And they overlap, so they go till 8 o'clock, you know, and we start at 7, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
you got an hour where you can kind of do both, too.
Yeah, I think you'll find bigger crowds because you'll be able to go to the farmer's market, get some food, and hang out.
And it uses the full Common,
Yep.
you know, and you don't have the kids that are down there that, for some reason, want to play, you know, Jungle Gym on our memorials that we always have to keep walking down saying, have some respect, you know, so, yeah, it'll be good.
Great.
How was it this year getting donations and getting the different groups to come forward compared to the past years?
So, Max is a genius at getting all different kinds of groups up there.
I mean, the first one's always easy because it's the jazz ensemble. You know, that one comes in easy. This year, we're definitely trying to get more Foxboro local talent. We usually have the Gobshites, and that's usually like, yeah, that's the Foxboro one, but we want to kind of build on that. So we have Ashley Spink, who is in a band, Ashley Dunn. She just graduated from the high school a few years ago. She went to UMass Dartmouth, and so she's coming. Eddie Shue is a couple of residents from Foxboro that are, one of them is a parent of one of my son's friends, so his band will be playing, and again, the Gobshites local. So there's four shows that are, you know, local talent, and then 4 of them are, you know, people from other places. And then the last one, we're going to try to do a local open mic night.
That's why I'm asking. It caught my attention.
We're working on that. We'll have that figured out. It's at the end of the summer, so we got some time.
You get some time to practice, Jim, the symbols. And everything, so.
You're more than welcome.
I'd actually pay to see that
I
one.
was good at the symbols.
Yeah, the symbols is good. You're sure you're improving, so.
It's good to see local bands and people, and I know from my son going through the music program, there are a lot of other local bands that have
Absolutely.
been on the Massey.
Yep.
I think my son's in 12 different bands, so, and all of his friends are as well, so
How old are they?
graduate college in 2
Graduating
weeks, so.
college. Well, next year.
Yeah, yeah.
We get sponsors. Usually, Foxborough Federal likes to sponsor the jazz band. Rodman always sponsors one. Bay Colony always sponsors one for us. Yeah, everybody likes to support it because then they can. Fox Cares actually supports a night too. They come up and
we'd like
put
to
their
see.
wares on the table and everything. So
We'd like to see a couple of the new businesses in town, utilize it too, because they get all
Had
the.
one here, you could have grabbed them.
yeah, well, let them get started first.
Yeah, something a
We're
little
not
more
going anywhere.
established, around the common, somewhere up there.
They could really benefit by this event, too.
course they can.
People will use that restaurant right off the common.
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to be open until 10 o'clock.
Exactly.
You go to a concert,
Yeah.
walk down the street,
Yep.
Yeah. Or you
play off
get
of each other,
food
which would be
and
good.
bring it to the common.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. People go to the
Picnic.
sub places and bring
Yep.
it to the common and eat. So supports everybody.
Good.
But thank you for all your hard work on this. A lot of work goes into it, I know.
Thank you.
Yeah, he starts right away after one season ends.
Was it
But now
hard to
he's
get
going to be
people
busy
on?
as president, so.
Was it hard to get people on Thursday nights, for instance? Because I know that's a very popular night for farmers markets.
We didn't, that's recreation.
Yeah. I
We
see.
just kind of
Okay.
merged together and said,
Oh, I
yeah,
see. Okay.
let's share it, but
Okay.
that was recreation that did all of that.
Okay,
I believe it was Renee.
okay.
Yep.
I think it's a great thing to have the compliment. It brings more life to the downtown and
Yep.
and hopefully will help sponsor the interest in new business in the downtown as well, which will benefit everyone.
Yep. And Foxborough Cable always televise it all and.
Foxborough Cares also.
Replays it. Foxborough Cares, yes, that's what I said, Foxborough Cares.
You did,
yeah,
you got that.
yeah,
Ah,
did,
good.
yep.
Always checking our dotting our i's.
So,
We need to vote on this?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a motion. Move to approve the Foxborough J.C.'s Town Common application for the concerts on the Common to be held every Thursday night from 5 p.m. through 9 p.m., beginning June 7th, 2018, through August 2nd, 2018, with two rain dates of August 9th and 16th.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The schedule. 8:10, resignation of Donald Triani and new appointment of Jeff Whitehouse to the Permanent Municipal and School Building Committee.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad.
So I think the first order would be to accept the resignation of Don Triani first.
Yeah, move to accept the resignation of Donald Triani from the Permanent Municipal and School Building Committee.
I think with regrets, too. Don has been a tremendous member of that committee for a long time. He's been involved in a lot of major projects, school projects, this project, the library, the public safety building, high school. I mean, he's been involved in a lot of different projects over the years, so I think the committee owes him a debt of gratitude for the work that he's put in.
Do we still send letters of thanks?
We certainly will. We certainly will, on behalf of the board.
Motion made, I'll second it.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? Aye. Okay, Mr. Whitehouse, let's see if we can have the same nice comments about you.
Pretty snarky.
Yeah, it's one of those days. Open up questions from the board. Well, you want to tell us about yourself?
Yeah.
I've lived in town my whole life. I grew up at Lyons Greenhouses. I have a strong work ethic. When I left high school, I started plumbing, and I got my, I'm a master plumber. I had my own business for over 12 years in Foxborough. But I've had a daughter, and I wanted more time with my family, so I now work for the facilities department. But I care greatly on what goes on in these schools, and I feel like craftsmanship needs to be brought back. And there's a big gap nowadays because there's not very many people going into it. So I'd like to see more care going into how all these buildings function.
Amen.
Questions from the board?
No.
Very grateful.
Excited.
Have a motion?
Yeah, move to appoint Jeff Whitehouse to the Permanent Municipal and School Building Committee to fulfill the vacancy for a term beginning 5/1/18 and expiring 5/1/2020.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck.
I've already started.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay. Kim and Lorraine are here, so we can...
He's got a daughter also.
Hey, Lorraine, you don't mind if we take you early, right? Okay.
Kim, okay with that?
Kim, you okay with that? Appointment of Kimberly Mellon to a member from associate member of ZBA. Appointment of Lorraine Brew to associate member of ZBA. Welcome. So, Kim, you're going to, from associate to a full member, right?
Hopefully, yes.
Theoretically.
Mr. Chairman, maybe you might want to give the explanation as to why this is occurring for the board.
Kind of hope I can stay back here.
No, Barney, why don't you come up and just give us the little...
You can't hide that easily, Barney, sorry.
Thank you. So let me start off then. I'm Barney Overett, and I chair the Board of Appeals. So Chris Bain, who is currently, well, I shouldn't say currently because his term expired, has been a regular member for the last several years. His term expired as of today. And he had indicated that because of heightened professional and personal commitments, he felt it would be best if the board had somebody who could devote more time. So typically what we do is the longest tenured associate member will move up to become a regular member, and that's Kim. And she graciously agreed to take on that responsibility when we met last week. And that left an opening for a new associate member, and I spoke with Lorraine a couple weeks ago about it. And she indicated that she was interested. Kind of surprised me that she said yes, because she's kind of busy. And I've recently read that zoning's not sexy, so I thought she might find what we do to be kind of mundane and uninteresting. But
Who says that?
I saw it in the newspaper.
Must be true.
Must be true. But you know, I feel that Lorraine, with her experience in town affairs and town matters, will be a tremendous asset to the board, and I'm pleased that that she has indicated her interest, and I'm pleased that Kim also wants to move up, as I said, to become a regular member.
Questions from the board?
I just answered my own question. You've been on it for 6 years already, Kim? Okay. Read it. Nope.
No, good.
No.
Good choices.
I don't have questions. Okay, got a motion?
Move to appoint Kimberly Mellon to the Zoning Board of Appeals as a member from associate member for a 3-year term starting 5/1/18 and expiring 5/1/21.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Lorraine.
And then, yeah, separate motion, ready? Okay. Motion to appoint Lorraine Brew to the Zoning Board of Appeals as an associate member for a one-year term starting 5/1/18 and expiring 5/1/19.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye. Thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could just add one other word. Chris Bain, as I indicated, was a member for a number of years. We appreciate his service, the opportunity to have served with him. Wish him well in his endeavors, and he will be missed. But I just wanted to publicly say thank you to Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody here for Hackney licenses?
This gentleman in the back, right? For the Hackney licensure?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do the application for Hackney licenses, QLS Inc., Pascal Zarut, Donald Leo Vandell, Julianne Slocum.
Okay.
How you doing?
Fine.
Might be helpful too if you describe for the board the kind of operation that you have, sir.
Car service, limousine service.
Limousine service?
Yeah. I opened my business in 2006. I was in Attleboro. And after I moved to Foxboro, I was from 2006 to 2017, 451 South Street in Foxboro.
Okay.
So now I'm moving the location to 40 Mechanic Street. We go have to reapply.
So you've already been an established business here in Foxborough, and now you're just moving to a different location?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So is this a renewal of a Hackney license?
This is a new license because it's a new location.
New location?
Mm-hmm.
So effectively, the old license would expire from that location. He would have to apply for a new license from the new location.
So the license is to the location, not the business?
It's to the location of the business, right? Because it could be in an area that it's not a good location, but this is actually appropriate.
Yeah, before it was on South Street, it was a residential zone, and now is 40 Mechanic Street is a commercial zone.
Right.
That's it. So.
Okay, application looks fine, got police signature.
This gentleman our police department did confirm all his background checks, all his vehicles have checked out.
The vehicle we're doing this week, we're going on.
Oh, they're going to be inspected before, and therefore he wouldn't be issued a license until those have been inspected, so we can actually, so if the board takes the action, we wouldn't issue a license until those have been inspected.
Yeah, exactly. But a brand new vehicle, so 2017, 2018.
Vehicles?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And those are inspected by the police?
Well, the inspections have to be done by the state, I believe, or is it the local?
By the police, mostly.
The police
Yeah, he's doing the inspection. It's not like an antique car or what, so it don't require a different inspection.
Any other questions from the board?
Move to approve the Hackney licenses to operate a limousine for QLS Inc. for drivers Pasquale R.H. Vesserut, Donald Leo Vandell, and Julianne Slocum to expire on 5/1/2020.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Let's go through the action items real quick.
Yep, move to accept a gift donation of a granite top for the new desk in the reception area to the town hall from Ron Bressi.
Second. Many thanks.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye. Move to accept a gift donation in the amount of $980 to the Council on Aging from the Friends of Foxborough Seniors to supplement programs held at the Senior Center.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye. Move to accept a gift donation in the amount of $200 to the police department from the Hockomock Kennel Club for canine maintenance.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Move to accept a gift donation in the amount of $59.95 to the Foxborough Historical Commission from Ellen and David Gustafson for the purpose of book sales.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye. Move to accept a gift donation in the amount of $200 to the Foxborough Historic Commission from Jim Murphy and the Foxborough Historical Society for the Cemetery Preservation Fund.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye. Move to accept a gift donation in the amount of $100 to Veteran Services from Mark and Naomi Boucher and $40 from Lillian McGrath for the Iraq and Afghanistan War Memorial.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye. Move to approve the 4/13/18 Board of Selectmen's minutes.
4-3.
I apologize, 4/3/18.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye. Move to approve the 4/17/18 Board of Selectmen's minutes.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That's done. Bill, we're ahead of schedule.
You want me to do my report, or would you like to move to the next item?
No, we'll move to the next item. Approval, consideration of Finance Director's contract. Discussion, possible vote to approve new 3-year contract for Finance Director, Randy Stallings.
Mr. Chairman, before the board is a consideration for the approval of a 3-year contract for the Director of Finance, Mr. William Scollins, otherwise known as Randy Scollins. The agreement would be effective from July 6, 2017, retroactively to July 5, 2020. The agreement, there is a pay increase that goes with that for this year. It was a 4% pay increase that goes with that, along with in the fact that his salary does include there is a $2,000 stipend he receives for professional certifications as a public accountant, as well as a certified government finance officer. As far as the other items that were included, there was a slight adjustment to the vacation from 4 weeks to 4.6 weeks, consistent with his years of service to the community. Full personal days the same, and 15 sick days, which is actually a reduction from the amount of time that was in his contract previously. His contract actually, I believe, reflected 24 days, which was a two-day-a-month accumulation rate. He's actually down to 1.25 accumulation rate at this point. There's also a reduction in the amount of buyback, vacation buyback. He went from a 4-week buyback to a 2-week buyback, so that is a reduction in that time. And then upon retirement, the unused sick leave days will be compensated according to the same terms and conditions that are reflected in the personnel bylaw. No changes to. There was a change to in the insurance area. We just recategorized the insurance, so it was all into one. Topic of insurance, which includes health and dental insurance, life insurance. It was interesting to note there was a provision in Mr. Scollins' contract for a number of years. It's actually been there since the first year, where he was entitled to receive the reimbursement for the cost of a disability program. He's opted to eliminate that, and then just an option in terms as trade-off, look for a maximum buyback reimbursement of $2,500 in any fiscal year for insurance costs, life insurance costs. The previous contract exposure was actually rather significant to the town, but he's actually opted to reduce that. Is also other terms and conditions of employment were added to the agreement, which stated that is expressly understood that Ms. Collins will comply with and abide all town policies and procedures as amended from time to time in the same manner as prescribed to other town employees. Those are essentially the changes that have been incorporated into the contract.
The increases going forward based on
performance,
valuation, performance only, right? So there's no automatic COLA.
Correct. And that is a change as well, and I apologize for not mentioning that earlier. That is, there were automatic cost of living adjustments included in the contract. Now is a 0 for 4% a performance adjustment based strictly on performance and not on cost of living.
Okay.
Those are the changes.
Questions from the board? Motion?
Move to approve new 3-year contract for Finance Director Randy Scollins.
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Just if you want to talk about the terms of the contract.
Yeah. No, not even. Heather Harding, 14 North High Street. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the women who were here and those who couldn't make it tonight, I'm just here to thank the board for addressing our allegations. We're happy to see that additional training has been done, the contract has been revised, apologies have been issued, and this matter's been going on for a lot of years for more than one administration, and we just wanted to take an opportunity to come and thank this board for their efforts.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just have one question. Do you want me to come to the table?
Yes.
Okay. And it is in terms of the contract. Debbie Stewart, 44 Neponset Heights Ave. You probably already know that, Amanda. Everybody does. I have a question. With the 4% raise, how does that play out with other managers in the town?
It's consistent.
So they've all gotten 4%?
Not all. I would say that generally speaking, a lot of people are they're on pay plans, which include a 2% cost of living adjustment and a 2% step.
Mm-hmm.
So the overall pay increase was is consistent with the other managers in that regard.
Okay.
So his is not set up just quite that way. He's not actually not on a pay plan, but the amount of money was the same. The only, I think myself was excluded from that. It was actually, I think it received a 3% increase. That was something we negotiated, and I was fine with that. And but also the pay that Mr. Collins makes is actually consistent with the market conditions that we currently see.
All right. Now, I may be wrong because I don't have the book in front of me, but isn't he the second highest paid employee in the town?
No, he's not.
He's not?
No.
Okay.
No, he's not.
All right, and then my third question is, given in the long negotiations that were done by this board, was there any discussion regarding past behaviors, which we now have a civility policy, and I'm sure, please, was there any thought process about that? Because in a private sector,
the board can't address that, ma'am. Well, we cannot get into that discussion. That's a personnel discussion.
How is that a personnel discussion?
Because you're asking about the performance of an employee.
If
that cannot be discussed.
Anything was taken into consideration during.
Can't be discussed.
It's behavior, Bill. It's behavior.
I'm sorry, you cannot discuss that. It cannot be discussed. I'm sorry.
But you gave him a 4% raise.
That was part of that is a negotiation that occurred with the board.
Disappointed. Very, very disappointed. Because in the private sector, and no, I wouldn't want him fired, but he needs to be held accountable for his behavior. And now we have a civility policy.
You know what, Deb? Now you're
you can't go there. I'm sorry.
This sad day, really, really sad day. very, very disappointing. And I hope to God, wherever she is, if she's not here now, I hope it's reported correctly out there.
I hope so, too.
It's going to make a very interesting election, right? I'm done.
Lorraine Brew, 126 Mechanic Street. I just want to comment that I've been involved in town politics since 2005, and I've worked with Randy Scollins since 2005 till present, and have found him always to conduct himself very professionally. And I find it very disturbing that this discussion went as far as it did to even broach that matter. So I think that Randy is owed an apology. And I just needed to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Obviously emotional, but gonna move on. Okay. So, Selectmen's update. Unfortunately, I was not able to participate in cleanup day. Doc, were you there?
Yes. Oh, it was outstanding.
Report on that?
The weather was beautiful. I think there was over 200 participants. A lot of bags of trash. Yeah, it was, once again, it's the 6th year, I believe. Yeah, just as successful as all the other years. Kudos to AJ Dooley, his crew, his staff, and Tina Belanger, one of the co-sponsors of it, and all the people that donated to the day. AJ has a list of people from the tents to the firefighters that help with the grill, to the fishing game that do all the cooking. The list is on and on. Maybe AJ can come in and talk about the list in total one day, but it was an outstanding day once again. And thanks to a couple of Patriots showed up too. I think Derek Rowe and Butler, the big Butler. And he was huge.
Not the ex-Butler.
Not the ex-Butler. And I apologize to Mr. Butler. I don't remember his first name, but they were there. They were smiling. The kids came up, signing autographs for the kids. They had a great, looked like they enjoyed themselves tremendously too, representing the Patriots.
Good. Yeah, they always do a great job. AJ and Tina and,
yeah.
You know,
Joe.
And Joe. I'm sure Joe was leading the charge.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'd like to get AJ in and see how many tons of trash he collected.
I left before we knew that, but probably takes a day or two to.
Yep.
And personally, driving around town, I think it's cleaner.
Yeah.
Good.
It is.
Good.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's the first day of summer. So, it'll be good.
Is it really? I was going to say.
No, but it's
it
gonna
will
be
be
85.
weather-wise, I was going to say.
That one right over your head.
It did. I just missed it completely. Okay. It's been a long day. Sorry.
Anybody else have anything want to add? Just a reminder, May 7th is elections. Chris, Ginny, Leah, good luck. People that are watching, got to get out and vote. That's the bottom line. You don't like the way things are going, you want to see change, do it at the ballot box and cast your vote. So.
Probably maybe address that email I know I got, I assume we all got, about televising a town meeting and how important it is not to.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's in 2 weeks. I don't think we have a meeting before then.
So I will try to address that for you. I actually spoke, that person came to our window, and I was actually not in the office when the person came. So the advice that the instruction we've given to him is that actually is the town moderator's call for doing that. And and he's happy to discuss it with the individual. The reason why, there's reasons why it's not televised, particularly because they relate back to the fact this is an open town meeting forum. And if we begin to televise, there's a feeling in general sense from the moderator's perspective and from others as well, that by having it televised, you could actually limit the attendance even further, because people will just stay home and feel comfortable just to watch it. There's also a sense, and this is a perceived sense as well, that it could have a chilling effect on people actually voting, because they're being televised and people are watching them vote on particular matters. I'm just conveying to you the message that the concerns that have been raised about that particular issue. There is, I believe the meetings are taped though, right? Is that accurate? They're not taped? Not even taped, just recorded. They're recorded, that's right. They're recorded, so therefore, for the minutes purpose, for the posterity of the votes themselves, and that's how they're recorded. But they're not actually televised and taped for rebroadcast.
The most important part of town meeting is to be there so you can cast your vote.
Right. And that's sort of like the feeling is that by having people come out and participate in the process, it actually is just the true reflection of democracy in the community. So I think that's the whole idea, is to try and encourage people to come. If people don't come, that's, it's difficult to say, to be critical later on, as the old saying goes. If you don't like something, if you didn't participate, well, that's really your fault, nobody else's.
So, Bob, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm
not here right now.
I'm going to. You have any thoughts about that? 'Cause I think it's important that we actually discuss it and give the pros and the cons.
Well, I happen to agree with Frank Spillane that it's his call and his call alone. So whatever I feel is kind of irrelevant to the discussion. He has his reasons for wanting it to be not televised. We've discussed it many times, and that's his position. So the moderator has the bounds of the hall. It's completely up to the moderator. And so I go with whatever he suggests. And we've discussed it thoroughly. So I understand his concerns. We have a 100-person that we need to get there for the quorum, and if we don't get that, then we don't have a meeting. So he's got legitimate concerns that if it's televised, you're not going to get that 100. Some towns have gotten rid of a quorum and gone to a 0 quorum. Then you wouldn't have that issue. But we're not at that point right now, and if we were going to do that in the future, we'd have to do that at a town meeting. So until you get to that point, I think his point is legitimate. So
I agree. The most important thing is to get people there.
Yeah.
Right.
And we lately have had good attendance at the annual town meetings anyways, and you'd love to see 3,000 people at every one, but it just doesn't happen. So until we get rid of the quorum issue, then I wouldn't, try to convince him otherwise.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Well stated.
Okay.
Thanks, Bob.
Enjoy your night.
Okay. Bill?
Okay. So a couple things to report to you. Today we were at I was at the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development Summit for 2018. It was a look back on the big accomplishments that have been achieved together with all the communities, cities and towns throughout Massachusetts in terms of economic development. It was at the DCU Center in Worcester. It was actually really well attended, a lot of representation from across the Commonwealth. The governor, lieutenant governor, Secretary Ash, Secretary Pollock, Secretary Beaton were all in attendance at this meeting today. It was an opportunity to collaborate and find out about some of the new work that's being done, the new grant programs that are being pursued by the administration, all of which are positive developments for community cities and towns. One thing in particular I thought was of note was that the community compact agreement that this town signed on to, I believe it was 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, 2015. We were then one of a group of communities that had not done it, but it was a pretty large number at that point. They announced today that all 351 cities and towns have signed on to that community compact agreement. So, which means that every city and town has a best practice that they're pursuing through this, and they're sharing it with the rest of the Commonwealth. So it's a great opportunity. It actually leads to grant programs by having that. The MassWorks program has been a huge success. $275 million has been spent on that program statewide. It's looking for reauthorization of that with the legislature right now. We are direct benefactors of that. There's been 135 communities who have benefited from that. That's from the roundabout that's going to be developed, we hope, this summer. We've been in negotiations with the state of trying to resolve the differences over their design changes that they made. And it looks as though we've reached, we're getting to the close and final stages of that, where it looks like the state's going to come through with the additional funding to actually pay for those additional costs. So we're very pleased that we've made a lot of success on, and a lot of movement in that area. Two things on the public safety side that I wanted to announce to the board is that on the police department side was that there's going to be an Israeli delegation visiting Foxborough with respect to counterterrorism seminar that will be held on May 29th and 30th with the Foxborough Police Department in conjunction with Metrolec, and we'll be hosting a 2-day training seminar on terrorism prevention and response. This training will be conducted by a professional Israeli global homeland security company that consists of police and military leaders from Israel that were contacted through Chief Baker when he actually visited Israel earlier in the year. The company conducting this training is called Nertel, and their information can be found on www.nertel.com. This is actually a one-of-its-kind type of training session, because it's the Israeli security forces are known around the world as being one of the tops in the world for what they do. And it's clearly important for the communities around the Commonwealth and throughout the world to actually take witness as to the kind of steps that they take. Things that they take for granted over there as automatic steps are steps that we're just learning. So it's really great to hear from them directly as to how they view things. And they've asked us to participate in an exercise and to work. Actually, there's another exercise earlier that'll be occurring next week, that I'll be working with the public safety folks that'll be held up at Gillette, talking about security measures that are being taken. But this is in addition to that as well. So this is, we're focusing on security measures, all the appropriate steps that need to be taken in the world that we live in today. And I'm very grateful for the chief's efforts to try and bring that home to this community. And second to that, the FBI NAA New England chapter is also sponsoring a New England Youth Leadership Program. Again, this was something that Chief Baker was able to help foster and bring here to Foxborough. It includes representatives from around the Commonwealth, police chief from Maynard, the police chief from Foxborough, the Dr. Raina Johnson, Unit College from Dean College will be here. Chief Noel March from the University of Maine Public Safety will be here. Dr. Paul Reston, Dean Continuing Studies, will be here. Chief Fred Ryan of the Arlington, Massachusetts Police Department. And Mr. Hayward Telkov, CEO of LexisNexis Government Solutions, will be here, along with representatives from the FBI, will be here to help train young individuals from around the Commonwealth with several members of the Foxborough community that will be participating in this leadership program. It's a terrific program that I was really pleased to see come about, and something that is new to the community. So I'm really glad to announce it on behalf of the chief and the work that he's doing up there with in cooperation with a lot of the surrounding communities and with the craft group as well to help in the efforts to try and bring leadership to the community and to young guys and gals all around the Commonwealth. So it's a great program, and congratulations to them for bringing it to Foxborough. I did wanted to make mention of this, and I apologize for not doing this earlier. It was actually something that was given to me last month, and I was able to get it to you. But I wanted to announce that there was a Patriotism scholarship program for young seniors from Foxborough. That program has been increased from $5,000 to a $25,000 program. The family is pleased to announce a new scholarship program for Foxborough residents who are graduating from high school seniors. The new scholarships will significantly increase the amount of funds available to students each year through $5,000 scholarships. So it'll be $5,000 scholarships made available. It used to be $2,000 programs, $2,000 scholarships previous to that. So that has been increased this year. So we're really grateful to see that happen, particularly for Foxborough students who can participate in that program. And last but not least, on Friday of this week, we'll be setting the beam for the new Brigham and Women's and Dana-Farber facility up at Patriot Place. That's a world-class facility that we're very, very excited to see happen here in the community. We'll bring some of the world's best medical treatment from the Boston area directly out here to the suburbs. A move that is now being heralded by a lot of the medical industry, and a move that is now being considered by a lot of other major medical institutions. And the leadership being shown here to bring it here to Foxborough is huge for this community as well as the surrounding communities that are here in this region. So we're very, very pleased to be able to be part of that. The board is invited to attend that. It will be held this coming Friday at noontime, I believe, and at Patriot Place at the location of the setting of the beam, which will be the setting of the final cross beam at the new building, and people will have the ability to sign it, and then they'll set the beam itself. So it's something we actually did for this building when we built this one. It's actually a very common tradition now that occurs when these new buildings get built. Pleased to be able to announce that. Good. Right.
Mary Beth?
I just have two quick updates. As the board knows, we approved at this meeting the child sexual abuse policy for training, mandatory training, and the personnel board approved it 2 weeks ago on Tuesday, and the letters went out to all the unions to impact bargain the change. We've heard from 3 unions who do want to sit down and talk about the impacts, but you know, hopefully once we resolve that meeting, we'll be able to get that rolling, you know, as we still continue to do the training though. And someone on our staff is going to be trained soon to be a trainer, Amanda. And so we're excited about that. The next meeting, we should be, I should be providing you a summary of the town manager's evaluation. I want to thank those of you who have already completed it. And just a reminder, if you haven't yet, if you could get it to me by Friday, I will be compiling, as we have in past years, a summary sheet of to report the findings, and we'll compile all of the documents this year are electronic, so it's coming through compiling in one document with all of the scores that I will be looking at and sharing with you a summary document as we have in the past. So I thank you for your comments that you've put on there, and if you have any questions or difficulty maneuvering through the system, please let me know. We're also on May 15th going to kick off our other performance evaluation process for all of our other groups, steelworkers, non-union employees, and we're using the electronic format for that. And that's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move to adjourn.
You good?
Second.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor? Aye.